What up, ladies, gents, and everyone in between? Shoebooty Sports coming at you Tuesday night. Even though the sun is very much out today, it's nice and steamy outside, not in a good way. Anyway, I mean, it's late June in Arkansas. It's what it is. I'm your host, Grandpa, on this screen. That's Bradley Brown rocking the very clean Arkansas hat on the other. Say what's up, Brad.
How's it going?
It's going all right. I'm just drowsy at the moment. I feel like I sound down, but I'm not. I'm just drowsy. I've got a seven here to try and wake me up. I made the mistake of coming home. I'm tired anyway, and I was like, I got a little time. I'm just going to lay back in my recliner and just close my eyes. And so totally nap for about 50 minutes. So I'm in that waking up state at the moment, but I'll get there. Anyway, before we get going, let's give a quick shout out to our sponsor. Shoebooty Sports is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers five different races: a 5K, 10K, half marathon, a marathon, and the one of a kind Rhino Ultra. You can sign up for one or all five of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience, track it with your fitness app of choice, screenshot your results as proof of completion, submit that screenshot to rhinoraces.com under the submit results section. Once your results are verified by Rhino Races staff, your reward will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section for t-shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. That's rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series. And you can find us, Shoebooty Sports, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on X at Shoebooty Sports. Okay, I think I'm awake now, sort of. All right. We want to just go ahead and talk about Arkansas baseball.
I thought we were going to talk about LSU baseball, but yeah, we can talk Arkansas baseball if you want.
We'll give a yeah, we'll talk LSU baseball. I mean, we're both wearing Arkansas hats, and you got an Arkansas whole thing like on your wall in the background, so it reminded me of it. I think I was just mentally trying to block it out. Now, I'm not that messed up about it. It's what it is. I learned a long time ago not to let the Arkansas Razorbacks determine how my day is going to go. Otherwise, I'm not going to have a very good day some days, most days, a lot of days. You're going to have some good ones every so often, but you're going to have some tough ones like that. Now, as a fan, I was naturally disappointed. And uh, people are going straight to the 2019 College World Series where the foul ball happens and
18.
Arkansas goes on to. Everybody's saying 19. Are we sure it was 18?
It's for the 18. Yeah, it was an 18, I'm pretty
You're
sure.
right. You're right. Because it was Vandy who won it in 19, I believe. Anyway, 2018, Arkansas foul ball happens, goes on to lose because catching that foul ball would have won Arkansas its only national championship in baseball. Didn't happen. It was all downhill from there. Oregon State goes on to win it. Side note, I keep seeing after LSU won at the SEC network or ESPN or both putting out that this is the fifth or sixth straight national championship by an SEC team, and they're all different teams. LSU's won it twice, but there were years off there. But it would be something like probably 10 or something. Or
It'd be more than that because, yeah, there was like 4 or 5 that won it before Arkansas.
yeah,
And then Arkansas messes it up. And then still been SEC after that.
and then Arkansas broke the streak. But they don't say that the SEC's really won like 10 or
Because
11 of the last 12.
everybody knows it at this point. Everybody knows what happened.
I guess they
So,
just don't want to rub it in,
exactly.
or it's just not a stat yet. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not a stat they even
But
really some of them put together. They're like they look. If you really dug just a little bit more, you'd see. Oh, wait a minute, they've
they
won a
probably
lot.
didn't want to, yeah, they probably didn't want to pile on because they were probably like, ah, well, these guys did just blow a 2-run lead with 2 outs left. They probably had it tough this week enough. So they probably did us a favor and didn't bring it up.
That's fair.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, they don't want to bring up, they hit it to the best shortstop in the country, the Golden Spikes winner. And he does something
Uh,
really dumb with runners on first and second. He gets the force out at third instead of turning two and ending the game. But we're not going to
let's
talk about
think.
that.
Let's think. No, we're going to talk about it. You needed two outs. You needed two outs to end the
Uh,
game. Aloy is the best shortstop Arkansas's had, as far as I'm concerned. At least he's the best I've seen. And yeah, and he's a vacuum. He's a vacuum at shortstop. He's not only an excellent hitter, he can field as good as anyone in college baseball. And you just think, oh, this is money. Turn into now. It would have gotten two. It would have ended it, but
yeah,
LSU's
plenty of
got some
time. Yeah.
speedy guys. Um, Even if you don't get it, you got to go for that. But yeah, I think he would have turned two to end the game there. No, he didn't. He got the force at
We're
third. You're up two.
we're worried about the lead runner that don't freaking matter.
That's the thing.
Doesn't
We're up
matter.
two anyway. It's not. It's not. It's
Yeah.
not like it was a tie. It's not like you're up one and they got a runner at third and then you got to go home. No, you tried to turn two to end the game and that didn't happen. And then that hit happens that Davalon misreads and now it was a tough play. It wasn't a gimme catch, but it's a play that he could have made absolutely, and a lot of left fielders would have made. But yeah, he just misread it, and that happened. Tie game, and then
Well, that was a slip too.
he also slipped. Yes, he slipped, but he misread it as
He,
well.
oh, he should have never been put in that situation. So
True, but he was, and he slipped, and two-run score, and then LSU another RBI single to end
yeah, to make it
Arkansas.
even worse, yeah, it hit off of our glove. So it's
Yeah, that
like,
would have
yeah,
been.
you are there, but yeah, it still couldn't get it.
Yeah,
So
it's what it is, man. It's what it is at that point. Yeah, LSU wins it. Now the better team won.
yeah,
Yeah, LSU was the best team in the country. I said that. I've said that ever since they played Arkansas in that series in the regular season. I was like, that's the best team in the country. Because I watched Texas play. I was like, Texas is better than these guys. There's no way. Not better than LSU. I mean, the best team won, and even if Arkansas would have won that night, you would have had to have beaten them again.
yeah.
Um, so, but we'll never know what happened. And yeah, so LSU stole one, and sometimes you got to be lucky and clutch, and LSU was both. And it's hard to win a championship, um, but it's easier for LSU than it is Arkansas for sure. What is that? Their eighth national championship, I believe, in baseball.
Seventh, seventh, I want to say. But yeah, all I know is next time Arkansas plays LSU in the College World Series, I'm betting the house on LSU.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet. I would agree with that. Okay, let's do it. Rate let's rate the season for Arkansas. Let's grade it. Just your traditional school grading scale. What would you grade the Hogs on the season overall?
Minus the last third of the ninth inning against LSU, I would
No,
rate them
no,
A minus.
counts. You got to count that. Like that's part of the season. It's how it ended.
F. It's an F. No, it's an
F.
A. It's an
So
A minus, 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 minus. It's an 89.55. I mean, it rounds up to a 90. It's an A. I mean, they've made it to the last three teams in the country, put up more runs than Coastal Carolina did against LSU. The argument can be made that they were the number two team in the country. You got to give them an A.
I'm gonna go. I'm not. I'm going B plus. You could give them an A, sure, but I'm going B plus because they had that struggle
I
in the
mean,
middle of the
if
season. They lost three
Yep.
straight series.
Here's where you're being a Razorback fan. If we've won championships before, yes, I could see you giving us a lower grade than an A, but we don't. We don't. So we have to give them an A.
I don't have to. I can give them whatever I want. Uh, you lost three consecutive series in SEC play. Three consecutive. That's
That don't matter at the end of the season.
does
So,
it does to me. I'm counting the entire season. I mean, you were number one to start the season, right? and then you went on
Think so, yeah.
three a 3 series skid, but you bounced back in a huge way, beating Texas. And I said on the show, I love the way Dave Van Horn coached up the guys, saying nobody wants to play us right now. Was completely unfazed going into that series against #1 Texas at the time, and you sweep them. That was huge. But I'm going to go solid B plus. I'm comfortable with that. I'm not being a hater. Because if you give them an A, then what? I mean, what's a national championship? A plus? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I'm not going to argue against an A, but I'm going B plus. I'm leaving room for improvement.
So the only team in the country that gets an A is LSU.
They get an A plus. No, Coastal Carolina definitely gets an A. I mean, they won 26 games in a row.
And they've won a College World Series title before.
Yeah, but Arkansas is in the mix. Has been in the mix for the last decade. I mean, it's if they won a national championship, people would be saying about time. And we have those expectations now because of Dave Van Horn. You had no expectations for. I didn't hear a thing about Arkansas baseball before Dave Van Horn.
Nope. No, yeah. Before I went to college, I did not hear anything about the
Yeah,
Razorback baseball
it
program.
probably couldn't have even told you if they had a team before then. So I mean,
I
Dave
would have
Van Horn.
figured we'd had a team, but
Yeah, but
I
you
could
know,
have been wrong because I also figured we had a soccer team. We don't have a soccer team. We
hey,
have a lady soccer team,
we do have a
not men.
women's team. The women's team is really good, by the way.
Yeah, they're really good.
Hasn't won a championship, but a really good team. Um, yeah. So I'm going B plus just for for improvement. I'm not hating. I'm not hating on the Hogs. They had a heck of a season. Nobody wanted to win that more than they did. Like the fans that pile on social media and just they're mad and they're losers because they have nothing else going for them, and so how the Razorbacks do will dictate how their day goes, and that's how you know they're a miserable person.
Not near as miserable as the Tennessee fans who jumped in the comments to hate on Arkansas after they lost against LSU.
Those are
So
equal, if not bigger losers.
those are bigger losers.
Yes.
So
Um, and I just mean fans in general that do that to their sports team. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
talking about Arkansas fans that are doing that, but fans of sports teams in general that get on social media and gripe. It's get a life.
yeah, it's pointless.
Yeah,
Like
that's way down my priority list is how the Razorbacks do in sports. Now, I would love to see them win. It'll make my day better, but I'm not losing a wink of sleep that night as long as my fan is still running. Okay. All right. I'm going B plus there. Good season, Arkansas. Better luck next year. How much longer? Well, before we move on, how much longer do you think Dave Van Horn coaches? Well, okay.
um,
I'll put it this way. Put it this way. Over under 4 years.
oh, I'd say over under 2.5. Jeez. I don't know. I would say at least 2 more years. I'm not sure about a third one.
I would say under 4 years. I would say that. There's all it's
Yeah.
missing is a national championship, and
He needs
he's
to
made a
buy
lot.
them boys some. He needs to buy them boys some LSU boxers to wear underneath their uniforms so they can play like them. I don't know what he's got to do, but he's got to win one before he retires.
That's a phenomenal LSU team. They were so good. That ace they have, Anderson kid, Cade Anderson,
Cade Anderson, yeah,
absolute stud. The reliever, the 6'8", 252-pound reliever that throws 101. It's like
yeah.
what would you do if you're the batter and that big behemoth comes out trotting to the mound and it's just throwing gas, just straight gas. You know it's coming, but you still probably can't hit it. I'm just like,
Close my
well,
eyes and
okay.
swinging, dude.
Yeah, I guess just send it. As soon as his arm starts to move, I'll swing the bat. Of course,
Yeah.
this is me talking as a 40-year-old. But even in my absolute prime of hitting, I mean, I would have had no chance.
Ooh.
Of course, I wasn't an SEC caliber, athlete either. But the point is, that guy comes out, even if I can play to that level, I'm still just like, all right, well, this is going to be rough, or could be. Just one huge guy, and then just just the gas coming out of that arm, insane. They, I don't know where they find these guys, but they had everything. The one weak spot was their 9 hitter, but he was at least a vacuum at third base. He was a playmaker at third base. He made a play every game at third. So I mean, there was a reason he was out there or in the lineup because the guy could field. Um, and if you're very solid 1 through 8, and your pitching is elite and the best in the country, that's good enough. Okay, all right, moving on. We'll talk here.
Congratulations, LSU.
Yeah, congrats LSU. Yeah, all right, moving on. Okay, Aaron Rodgers has said, and we find ways to talk about Aaron Rodgers on the show, or I do, because I kind of love Aaron Rodgers as a player. Anyway, um,
We know you love him as a man too.
I know it's Pride Month, but I don't play for that team. But yeah,
You don't do that.
top 5 quarterback as far as I'm concerned. He said this is probably his last season. He's done he's for a guy that wanted to be anti-Favre, and he has been as far as taking care of the ball, because Favre was just gunslinger, threw a million interceptions. He threw 500 plus touchdowns, but he also threw like about 300 interceptions. I think he did throw 300 something interceptions. Aaron Rodgers is the opposite of that. He's got the best touchdown to interception ratio in history, in NFL history. But so in that way, he has been the total opposite of Brett Favre. But in just about every other way, he's kind of mimicked Favre exactly. He wanted to go to the Vikings after the Jets, which I actually agree with. I would have loved to have seen him at the Vikings. But this kind of wishy-washiness, he said at the end of the season, he's going to let he's not going to wait long. He's going to let teams know. Now he let the Jets know. He let the Jets know what he wanted to do. But then the Jets said, well, we're moving on, which I think which was definitely better for Aaron Rodgers as far as I'm concerned. I mean, come on, it's the Jets. And goes to Pittsburgh, or eventually gets signed by Pittsburgh. Because Pittsburgh, you knew that was probably going to happen because they had every opportunity to draft a quarterback. And they just kept building the roster at other positions. And then Aaron Rodgers signs. But it's probably his last year, right?
I would think so. He's had a lot of big changes in the last couple months. He got married. Apparently, his new wife does not want to be in the public eye at all. Um, you know what? He's been in the league long enough. He probably wants to know what life is after football, and so I don't blame him for being ready to hang him up. Um, so yeah, I figured he was going to do it this year. I figured he was going to announce his retirement, but that was before all the talks with the Steelers. So
Yeah, he knows he can still play. He knows he can still play, and he wants to give it a go with a solid team. And I think that's why the Vikings were so intriguing to him. But the
but what if he
Steelers,
goes out?
close second.
What if he goes out and balls out and takes them to the division championship or maybe even to the Super Bowl, loses? You think he comes back, give it another run?
Probably not. Probably not.
I think he does if he gets close. But
That stings. Um, Probably not. Um, I'll say this to basically my mindset right now. Like I'm in a running season right now, a competitive running series, and I got second place in my not overall in my age group a year ago. I'm probably going to get first place this year, and so I'm thinking like I really want that, like right, like I really want that first place before I decide to not do this series anymore because I'm thinking this is going to be my last year doing it, and um, somebody said, well, if you get second again, are you going to come back or try again? It's like, no, I don't think so. Like if I don't get it, I just don't get it. Like it's time to go do other things. Still going to run, still going to pace, still going to do trail runs, build my trail profile, that kind of thing. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. That's my mindset. I'm not going to come back just to attempt that. It either happens this year or it doesn't. Is my way of thinking. Mike Malham, legendary Cabot football coach, Hall of Fame football coach in the state of Arkansas, retired with exactly 300 wins. And they asked him, they said, because you really didn't know, it was kind of close. It was toward the end of the season. They had like 2 games left. He was at 299. And so somebody asked him, if you just get stuck at 299, you going to come back? Or I think they asked that in the middle of the season. People had pieced together that he might not get there. And they asked him, if you don't get to 300, will you come back? And he said, no, it's if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But I mean, this is it, no matter what happens. I think that's how Rodgers would be in that regard. I think he wants to give it a go with a good team, a good organization. I'll put it that way. A good organization, a well-run organization, because you don't get because that's about as good as it gets as far as the Steelers go, as far as a well-run organization goes. They've had three coaches in their history. I mean, it's been they get a guy they like and they stick with him no matter how it goes. But they've always been pretty solid, so there's been no reason to fire a coach. It's just a well-oiled machine in Pittsburgh, and I think he wants to give it a go with a top-notch organization, historic one. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But he at least wants to try, and he knows he can still play. Even with the Jets last season, I mean, the team didn't have success, but he did statistically, especially in the final game. He knows he can still play. He can still do this. Um, I think he's doing everything right as far as that's concerned. I didn't know he was getting. I didn't know he had gotten married. By the way,
What?
yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
yeah. I'm surprised. It's like every time somebody mentions Aaron Rodgers, it's like, oh, he got married.
Yeah, no,
So
didn't know that. He's usually dating a celebrity though, so that's how you hear about it, or that's how I've heard about it. Good for him.
yeah,
Uh,
I'm just glad he's not dating any more bad actresses. So
um, is Olivia Munn a bad actress?
no, I was thinking about Gal Gadot or whatever her name is, Wonder Woman.
Gal Gadot.
Yeah,
He dated
whatever.
her. When did he date her? I don't think that's
Yeah,
right.
he dated her.
I don't think so. I think you're conflating thinking that she was Olivia Munn. I
No,
think that's what happened. Um,
no.
I don't think they dated. Um, I don't care enough to look it
I didn't
up.
even know he's married. So
I mean, that's true, but I don't. I feel like I might have heard that. Maybe.
well, even if he didn't, she's a terrible actress. So we'll just move on.
All right. No, hang on. What's she been in besides Wonder Woman, or like a Wonder Woman role?
The
What
the
else has she
Netflix
played?
the Netflix movie that The Rock was in, Red Notice or Burn Notice or something. It was another terrible movie. So,
Well, The Rock's
she,
really in nothing but terrible. I mean, I'm not hating. Like, go get your money. I mean, he's getting paid, but they're not award-winning flicks that he's in. I mean, Tooth Fairy, Rampage. I mean, come on. But dude's a star and he's getting paid. So I mean, good on that.
yep.
Well, I mean, I'll take your word for it. I've just really seen her, and she was in Wonder Woman and what was
Superman,
the one?
Batman.
Well, it's
She's
anything Wonder Woman related. She's been in, but I'm thinking she was in a. it was a Mark Wahlberg flick. She was his girlfriend or something in it.
Probably another bad movie.
Yeah, I don't remember the movie. Um, but yeah, she was the hot girlfriend. That's all I recall.
She's
Okay,
eye
now
candy.
now we can move on because we've talked way too much about that on this 40-minute show. One thing I did want to bring up. Well, we haven't talked about the WNBA in a while, mainly, and it's because Caitlin Clark hasn't been playing, so I haven't been watching. I'm part of that 52% that tuned out whenever Caitlin dipped because of injury. I tuned back in. I didn't see. I've only seen one game of theirs, and they lost actually. And Caitlin Clark was terrible. Had a terrible game. Was over from 3-point range. Had a lot of terrible turnovers, and the Valkyries. It was the Valkyries that won. Beat them on their home floor. I think they think they're the Golden State Valkyries, right?
Sounds right. Yeah.
But that was an interesting game. I didn't realize Kate Martin what was on the Valkyries. She came over from the Aces last season. That was Caitlin Clark's teammate at Iowa. Was their second best player. So I knew who she was. I know she's a solid player. She had a good game down the stretch, but um, again, Caitlin Clark was terrible in that game. But her first game back from injury, she lit up the defending champs. 32 points, seven 3-pointers, hit 3 consecutive logo threes. Was phenomenal in her return. And then I think a game later, they played the Connecticut Sun, and she was getting pushed around a little bit. Now, I will say this: I'm a Caitlin Clark fan, but I also call it down the middle.
Yeah.
She's a total flopper, an absolute flopper, and I can see how that would be. She's a flopper, and she talks shit. She
She,
talks trash on the floor.
yeah.
So I can see how other players are going to have a problem with that and retaliate in certain ways. Can totally see that, but at the same time, there's some obvious jealousy and pettiness involved that this this young white girl is coming over and coming into the league and taking the league by storm and is the biggest star that they have by a jillion. And there's some jealousy and pettiness there. There just is. And if you don't see that, then you're lying because it's clear as day. And there's been some mistreatment towards Caitlin Clark that is unfair and isn't being enforced by the officials. But Indiana Fever went and got a gal that became the enforcer with one move, with one takedown of a Connecticut Sun player. I don't remember her name. But then goes full like MMA, like grabs her by the head and is telling her, do something, as the players pile in, try to pull her off. But Sophie Cunningham has quickly become a star for the Indiana Fevers. I think Black Belt Barbie was a term that I heard, which is a pretty clean nickname, by the way.
Yeah.
Who who would have thought the smoke show, the hottest chick on the team, would be the enforcer of the Indiana Fever? Who saw that coming? I didn't. I didn't know anything about Sophie Cunningham except that she was like kind of feisty. I had heard that reputation about her as she came in, but I was like, that's kind of something that the Indiana Fever need is some toughness because that team had zero toughness a year ago,
No.
a season ago. Nobody on that team would. Anytime Caitlin Clark would get forearmed or clawed in the face or just punched in the head,
Would they even help her up?
oh, they would go run to help her up, but that was it. They just run right past the person that did it and would just go help her up. It's like, what the hell is this? Like, chicks are tougher than this. I mean, come on. And I don't know, that was a big problem.
I'm waiting for Clark to start throwing bows, man. Just get them out of her way. Start taking care of business. I'd love to
Well,
see it, but it ain't gonna happen.
well,
So
I say that Caitlin Clark is clearly a tough gal because she took all that abuse a year ago, and she's a flopper, but she's a tough gal too. I mean, she'll get in your face. She's not afraid to. She doesn't take any of it, but she's smart enough to know basically retaliate to an extent. I mean, you're the star. Somebody else needs to step in and handle that for you. But they
just
got a
one
gal named
good,
Sophie Cunningham that is.
just one good elbow to someone's temple. All I'm saying.
You know what would happen though? I mean, I agree with you, but you know what would happen? The world would, or I say that the world, social media and ESPN would erupt, and it would become a discussion about race again for the unteenth billionth time.
Yeah, just make sure she does it to another white girl.
I would just make sure you do it to whoever deserved it.
Yes.
But that's not how ESPN and Ryan Clark and guys like that work. Um, race is always the discussion, and part of the reason I don't watch ESPN anymore, I'm sick of just race. So like the world in the last 8 to 10 years has been just race this, race that, race the. I don't want to hear it anymore. Like I'm tired of this BS narrative. Like
Yeah.
let's just call it like we see it, fairly. Um, but that's a discussion I don't want to continue to dive into. But Sophie Cunningham, Black Belt Barbie, the enforcer for the Indiana Fever. Who knew? By the way, her jersey sales ever since that incident have surpassed Caitlin Clark's. Did you know that?
Sweet.
Yeah, I
No.
mean, and she's gained 1 billion followers on social media, myself included. Uh,
A
yeah,
billion.
I'm being sarcastic. She's percentage wise, maybe. No, she's gained I don't have the numbers. She's gained a lot of followers. Is that better? Jesus. Okay. Sophie Cunningham, overnight star, essentially. Interesting stuff. All right. What else do we want to discuss before we get out of here?
I don't know what happened in the NBA this past week.
Oh yeah.
Anything?
Oh yeah.
Anything?
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Oklahoma City Thunder won an NBA championship, their first as the Oklahoma City Thunder. Of course, they were a former Seattle franchise, but haven't won anything since the '70s. If a team did it, you thought it would be, the KD, um, Westbrook, and Harden crew, but no, it didn't happen. They got there and had to face a Miami Heat super team and Mike Miller, who hit 1 billion threes in the decisive game 5 of that one in 2012. But yeah, Oklahoma City gets it done in game 7. Now, Tyrese Haliburton came out hot. He played hurt, came out hot, was on fire, looked really good, and then got injured in the first half, ruptured his Achilles. So he's probably going to miss the entire 2025 and 26 season. I hated that. I hated that
hate it.
that's how uh, I felt like I got cheated to an extent because it would have been a closer game. As good as McConnell has been, he's not Tyrese Haliburton.
Yeah, we all got cheated of a true game 7. So
But that's not the Thunder's fault.
no,
It's Thunder might have won anyway, but I think we could have really had a classic game 7, like a classic down to the wire game 7 that we didn't get to see. Halliburton played hurt. A similar thing happened to Kevin Durant in 2019 with the Warriors. He tried to play hurt and tore his Achilles, ruptured his Achilles. I don't blame either of those guys for trying. It's the finals. Um, I don't blame them for trying because they get killed if they sat out, especially if
yeah.
Halliburton sat out of game 7. Uh,
Hmm.
but he tried. I mean, I hate that he got hurt, but yeah, first either way, Thunder win it. and good on them, good for them. I'd say the better team won, which I think they were, but I still would have wanted to see the rest of how it would have went with Haliburton on the floor. But it didn't happen, and Oklahoma City Thunder are the NBA champions. SGA, league MVP, uh, finals MVP, scoring champion too, right? I believe that was the
Mhm.
stat. One of four players in league history to get a scoring title, league MVP, and finals MVP. So pretty big. Um, Very young team. I think it's the second youngest team to win an NBA championship. Good on them. Do they win another? We'll get out here on this. Do they win another in the next 5 years? Yes or
Yes.
no? Okay. I'm gonna say I'm also gonna say yes, but we'll see what happens. Till then, we've run out of time. We'll see y'all next week. I'm Graham Powell.
Go the Brown.
This is y'all.
Peace.